Hi, welcome back. So this video is going to be an intro to me, Julian, the host. Know what I want to talk about? I have like stuff for the other alters who are going to make intro videos, but for me it's like, I don't know how to introduce myself because most people in our life that we introduce ourselves to know who I am, but think everyone else is me. And so it's a little more complicated, I think, because I also have been having troubles fully knowing who I am myself. And I think partly because I have been diagnosed with BPD, well, we have been diagnosed with BPD too, which makes it even harder to really understand who I am. But yeah, so my name is Julian. I'm the host of our system. I am 18. I am male. I use he, him pronouns. I look pretty much like the body. I'm just taller, and some of the features that we already have in the body are more pronounced in our world. So the body has freckles, but they're very light, and they mostly come out. They get less light in the summer, but they're still pretty light in the summer. But for me, inner world, I have pretty prominent freckles, and I also, this body and also me in the inner world have internal heterochromia. So the outside of my eyes are blue and a little part of the inside of my eyes are green. But in inner world, there's more green in my eyes than blue, where in outer world, there's more blue in my eyes than green. So that's kind of that. I've been having a lot of hard time talking about that. And I've kind of just recently come to terms with that I don't look like the body. Because I already struggle with so much with that already, not knowing and having to admit that part of that is I don't know how, I don't look like the body has been hard for me. But I'm finally starting to be able to say the words, and I've written it down, I've talked to people about it. So it's become easier to talk about, but I guess I haven't processed it fully yet. I identify with most things in the life, like our birthday and our families, my family, stuff like that. I'm not the old host. We, for a while, thought the old host had fused, but we don't know where the old host is. Or wait, sorry, I'm dissociated. We thought the old host fused for a while with someone to make me, but recently we've been having more severe PTSD symptoms surrounding what started our DID. And before with me, and I guess this is me, I'm all talking about my personal, as my alter experience. I used to not remember anything. I didn't even know what happened to me. I knew, like, there's parts that I knew, but they never would tell me and stuff. But now I've been starting to get flashbacks to that trauma. So we had recently one and another part came up that seems a lot like this old host. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm the old host or the old host split into me and a couple other people, or if the old host is this alter, and it's kind of getting more complicated. And I also don't know this alter. All I know is their name is pretty similar, and the way they look is really similar, and the way they act though is a little bit different. But it could be that they're older than they're older than when I became host, than when the old host wasn't there and I was the host. So I don't know. I don't know, honestly. But that's kind of that. I don't know if I want to make this longer, but I really don't know what to talk about, and especially some of the stuff I'm not comfortable talking about. Yet I was planning on talking about this and this and this, and then it's like, I don't know if I want to talk about that yet. online or to anybody really other than my therapist and maybe my partner or something. I think I maybe told them, I'm sorry, I'm really dissociated, and I can tell that I have some, like, parts with the way I'm acting. I can't really, like, feel them, but certain way, this is kind of how I tell if someone's close, is I'll have certain ways of acting. So I guess I can talk about the passive influence and how I experience it and stuff, and like sometimes with certain actions I can tell, hey, it's this alter who's close. Sometimes I see the passive influence, I'm like, that's not me, but I don't know who it is. But right now I can tell who it is, but he will introduce himself later on this channel. So I'll let him talk about it, and I guess I could kind of talk about it later, maybe in that video or something, like cut a clip of me in that video talking about how that is the thing. I've been trying to work on communication. This is part of why I started this. I have pretty good communication with a small amount of us, especially because I have a really close relationship with our co-host. He'll talk about it, but he doesn't really hold much trauma, and the trauma he does hold, we've processed some of it unknowingly before we even knew we had DID, and so it made it really easy to become really close to him. So, but he's kind of like, his job is weird, but he can contact a lot of people in the system, not everyone, depending on, and it also sometimes depends on when, but there's a good chunk of alters that he can contact anytime, no matter what, and he can always find a way to contact them. And he has helped me, I think, figure out more about us. I am definitely on the lower, and this is the person who diagnosed us also told us this, and we agree with this, is obviously dissociation is a spectrum, and then also being on the dissociative spectrum, even with a diagnosis, you're still in a spectrum. So the DID diagnosis has the spectrum, like the polyfragmented, and then we have like just that, and we're on the lower side. So we have amnesia and amnesia barriers and stuff, but I think it partly is we're so covert, even to ourselves, that we don't notice most of the time when we have amnesia. And then it's also pretty easy with the farther up alters, like the close, like, because we have like the main system, we have like the beginning of the main system, the end of the main system. Beginning of the main system, I'm really close to. Middle or end of the main system, don't really know anything about them. And then we have like a subsystem and stuff and also just alters that I don't even know about yet, and they've been starting to come up because of trauma memories and stuff coming back. So yeah, that's kind of what that looks like for me. I've always felt really like I wasn't real because of how much awareness I had. But I think partly that had to do with, I tried so hard. I felt so comfortable having that awareness, but it wasn't actually awareness. I was making up stuff, so I was comfortable. And I'm still trying to get over that. In some places, is like, some of that awareness, I was not aware. I thought I was aware, where that turned into me thinking I had way more parts than I did, because I thought, oh, I felt like myself, but it was a little bit this way, so it must be this I would make up a new person, basically, and it would feel right, but I think it was just what I wanted it to be. And so I'm coming to terms with that I did that I wanted to be more aware than I was, and I did this, and the thing is, I do have parts, and I do have this, but some of them, especially in the past, that I thought I had were usually blended people. So it's like I would be blended with someone and I would think it was a new person. And I didn't really understand how much amnesia I was having, with actual parts, because our amnesia is very much like, we don't remember we even had amnesia until someone will come up and talk to us and tell us, hey, you told me this or something, and I have no idea. Or like, talk about, I was in a conversation and I was engaged with them and I don't remember it, or I'll find stuff I didn't buy in my room that nobody else goes in, and even the people who could, I ask, and they said they weren't. Like, it's really hard for us to realize how much amnesia we have, and especially, I think it's been hard because when we're in a state, like a steady environment, so if we're in one place at the same time for always, even if it's not really the best place, it's harder to tell. And it's also, I feel, I don't switch that much. If it's like a really traumatic situation, I do, but if it's not, I don't. Or even if it's just stressful, I don't really switch much if it's the same place all the time. But if I'm doing, the more I do stuff, even if it's not traumatic, the more switches there are. And I think because the more positive and negative triggers there are in the world. But yeah, just coming to terms with not knowing much and coming to terms with having to feel like I had to. And also, I don't need that awareness to be comfortable. I don't need that awareness to be okay. And I will gain that awareness through therapy. It's just scary to not know parts of your life or parts of yourself or who could take over your body at any time. But it also has helped me to figure out, like, coming to terms with, they're all parts of me. I think that's really helped me, is figuring out they are separate people. They have their own likes, dislikes, beliefs, this, that, but they are all parts of the same brain. They're all parts of my brain. I'm part of that brain. We're all parts of one whole. And I think that's really helped us with acceptance. Oh my gosh. Acceptance. That's kind of what I am doing right now. And I guess life is right now. We'll make a video about how we found out, or I found out we had TID and how hard it was to get a diagnosis, the medical mistreatment that we've suffered because of our own misinformation we were spreading about ourselves and misinformation being spread online. We will talk about other things, I guess. A lot of this is just going to be our experiences. We'll have parts come out and talk about, like, what they feel. And, like we're going to make a video on Introjects by one of our Introjects. And I know, and I wrote, and I guess I know this because I wrote what I wanted him to talk about down. So I don't know fully what he's going to talk about, but this is kind of what I wrote down for him, was more just like, what are the differences between you and this person, and what are, because I know he's had a hard time understanding that he's not, he understands, but he has a hard time separating himself from his source. But it's been easier now because especially we're understanding more of what makes him different than his source. And I think he's going to talk about that on the thing, is finding out how he's different from his source. But yeah, and I'm sorry if my video has been a little weird. I tried. I thought I was fine to fully be here, and I'm not. I guess I'm so dissociated. I can hear it in my voice, I can hear it in the way I talk, that I'm not fully here. But there's gonna be those days, and I guess you'll see more of me and who I am throughout the channel. So I'm gonna post this as my intro because it's talking about me, even if I'm not fully acting like myself, and I can't really even tell now fully what is going on because I'm really dissociated. But I've been myself as me, no matter what happened to Old Host, since 6th grade. And yeah, so we would be in senior year. Well, we would have just graduated senior year. So, kind of that timeline. Yeah, so I think that's it. So, have a great day. Bye.